I remember at first, when I was first into the sex world, I saw a collar and leash on somebody at the club and I thought it was really extreme. And then now I'm like, no, it's not extreme at all. It's very tame for the world of kink, okay? A collar and leash is the first little thing you have for like dom submissive play. And when you put a collar on, or a man puts a collar on you, in my opinion, in my experience, it was a man putting a collar on me. He's performing an act to take away your control, and you're giving it to him, right, with the act. And so while you're in that collar, you're always reminded of where you are. And then the leash is clearly to direct and like literally pull where you want. But there is something about being pulled in a direction that there's pleasure in being that submissive and enjoying that someone's playing with you like that, playing around, like it's playing. People play differently, right? They like to play differently. The collar is a big deal, and like I wouldn't put a collar on with Jay because it doesn't suit our dynamic.
Is it a symbolic? Is it a symbolic thing?
It is, but it's also real because they can lock you in it. So it's like it's symbolic, but it's also to actually be pulling you, right? Just like harnesses are actually functional. Yeah. I want them to grab my ass and like slam, you know? It's functional.
And that takes a little trust.
Oh, it takes a lot of trust, but that's where the intimacy comes from. The more you can build with someone, and then the deeper you go into these experiences, you get so much richer intimacy from that alone. The intimacy is the reason I did it. And when you learn that you don't have to have the long road to get intimacy, but that you can have the deep road instead with someone, it's a whole new ballgame. Do you understand what I mean by that? You don't need to spend a long period of time to get to that level of intimacy when you can perform a certain sexual role and almost take an elevator down and go to a level of intimacy instead of latitude. Long lights this way.
Yeah. And any advice for this? What's your best advice?
Find out what makes you tingle, yes, and what doesn't, and be honest about it, because you need to get fulfillment for you to want this. And if you get called a whore and you don't actually like that word, you want to be called a slut, or you want to be called like his dirty little slut, or you want to be called his princess during, so you have to speak up. Like you have to, if something's really important to you. So for example, like I can see when you would like almost like wink a little bit because I can see you're happy about something, that like listen to those things and ask for more of those. Be communicative. If he spanks you in a certain way and you didn't really want to keep doing it that way and you could do without it the next time, let him know. Doms need direction to be good doms. And you can craft an experience with somebody so well precisely for your two sets of boundaries and limits that it's such an intimate, delicate dance that only the two of you will ever do.
Good advice. This is like the psychedelics for sex.
I would say so. It's the access to that level of connection and intimacy that couldn't be created without the level of extremity. Yeah, extremes. In case I said that.